You wake up, check your phone, and there's nothing. No good morning, no random meme, no late-night message saying she can't sleep. Just silence. And somehow that silence feels louder than anything else. You tell yourself it's fine. People break up all the time. You're a grown man. You've got work, friends, things to do. But the truth is, something inside you feels hollow. Like someone walked into your mind, took a piece of it, and quietly left. So why does that happen? Why does it feel like the world loses color when she's gone? Let's talk about it. Not the romantic version, not the movie version. The real reason. At first, it feels confusing. Because logically, you know you'll survive. You've lived your entire life without her before you met her. So why does your brain act like it's the end of the world? The answer is simple. Your brain isn't reacting to the breakup, it's reacting to the loss of emotional structure. When she was in your life, she became part of your daily rhythm. You woke up and thought about her. You saw something funny and sent it to her. You had a bad day and texted her. You went to sleep after saying goodnight. She wasn't just a person. She became part of your routine. And when that routine disappears overnight, your mind suddenly has empty spaces it doesn't know how to fill. It's like removing furniture from a house you've lived in for years. The rooms feel strangely bigger, but also colder. That's the first reason you feel empty. Your life lost a pattern your brain had grown comfortable with. But there's something deeper happening too, something most people don't talk about. When you're with someone you care about, your brain starts linking your identity with that person. You're no longer just you. You become us. Your future plans start including her. You imagine trips together. You picture introducing her to your family. You think about where life might go with her beside you. And without realizing it, your brain builds an entire mental world around that possibility. Then suddenly, she leaves, and that world collapses. Not slowly, instantly. It's not just that she's gone. It's that the future you imagined with her disappears too, and your mind has to rebuild a new future from scratch. That's exhausting. That's why emptiness hits so hard. But the biggest reason you feel empty after she leaves isn't love. It's dopamine. Every message she sent, every time she laughed at your joke, every moment she looked at you like you mattered, your brain released dopamine. The same chemical linked to motivation, pleasure, and reward. Over time, your brain starts associating her presence with feeling good. She becomes part of your emotional reward system. Your brain literally learns. Her grows happiness. So when she disappears, it's like removing a source of emotional fuel your brain relied on. It's similar to quitting caffeine or sugar. Your brain suddenly goes into withdrawal. You feel restless. You feel sad. You check your phone even though you know she won't text. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is searching for the dopamine source it lost. That's the chemical side of heartbreak, and it's powerful. But chemistry alone doesn't explain everything. There's also the ego. And the ego hates rejection. Even if the relationship wasn't perfect. Even if deep down you knew it might not last. The moment she chooses to walk away, your mind starts asking painful questions. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Why wasn't I worth staying for? Those questions loop in your head at night when everything is quiet. And the strange thing is, the brain hates unanswered questions. So it starts replaying memories. That argument you had. That moment she seemed distant. That message she didn't reply to for hours. Your mind becomes a detective trying to solve a mystery. But sometimes there's no clear answer. Sometimes people leave simply because their feelings changed. And that uncertainty creates emotional emptiness. Because your mind wants closure that may never come. There's also something else happening beneath the surface. Loneliness. Not the kind where you have no friends. The deeper kind. The kind where one person knew your little details, your weird humor, your late-night thoughts, the random stories from your childhood. When she leaves, you don't just lose a partner. You lose someone who understood your inner world, and suddenly you realize how rare that is. You can hang out with friends. You can go to work. You can keep living your life. But there's still a quiet voice in your mind saying, I wish she was here to hear this. That's the emotional gap people feel after someone leaves, not just romance, connection. But here's the part nobody tells you. The emptiness isn't permanent. It only feels permanent because your brain hasn't adjusted yet. Think about it like moving to a new city. At first, everything feels unfamiliar. You don't know the streets. You don't know where to eat. You miss the places you used to go. But slowly, you adapt. You discover new routines, new people, new moments that make you smile. Your brain builds new patterns, and eventually the city stops feeling strange. Your life works the same way. Right now your mind is still structured around someone who isn't there anymore, but your brain is incredibly adaptable. Given time, it rewires itself. New routines replace old ones. New experiences create new dopamine sources. And slowly, the emptiness fades. Not because you forgot her, but because your life grew around the space she left. There's also something powerful about heartbreak. It forces you to meet a version of yourself you usually avoid. The version that sits alone. The version that thinks deeply. The version that confronts uncomfortable truths. When a relationship ends, you suddenly have time and emotional energy that used to go towards someone else, and that energy has to go somewhere. Some people let it turn into bitterness. Some people try to numb it with distractions. But the people who grow the most, they invest it back into themselves. They build stronger friendships. They improve their health. They pursue goals they once ignored. They become someone their past self wouldn't recognize. And ironically, heartbreak often becomes the moment life quietly upgrades you. But you can't see that while you're in the middle of it. All you feel is the emptiness. Another truth most people overlook is this. You're not just grieving the person. You're grieving the version of yourself that existed with them. The jokes you shared, the habits you built together, the way you acted when you were around her. That version of you disappears too. And it takes time to rediscover who you are without that relationship. But here's the surprising part. Sometimes the version of you that emerges afterward is stronger, more confident, more independent, more aware of what you truly want in a partner. Relationships teach you things about yourself that nothing else can. And even the ones that end still leave you wiser than before. So if you're feeling empty right now, understand something important. That feeling doesn't mean you lost your chance at happiness. It means your mind is adjusting to change. Humans are wired for connection. When connection disappears suddenly, the brain reacts strongly. But the same brain that created those emotional patterns can also create new ones. New memories, new routines, new people who bring unexpected joy into your life. You just haven't met them yet. And one day something strange will happen. You'll go an entire day without thinking about her, then a week, then maybe months. You might see something that reminds you of her, and instead of pain, you'll just feel a quiet nostalgia. Like remembering a chapter of a book you once loved reading. Not regret, not anger, just a memory. Because time doesn't erase people, but it softens the space they left behind. So if you're in that empty phase right now, give yourself patience, don't rush the healing. Don't pretend you're fine when you're not. Emptiness isn't weakness. It's proof that something in your life once mattered. And that ability to care deeply, that's not a flaw. That's the very thing that will allow you to build something meaningful again someday. With someone new, or even with yourself. Because the real truth is this, she didn't take your happiness with her. She only occupied a place where your happiness temporarily lived, and that place was always inside you, waiting to be rebuilt.